This series is a great way to get started in the romantasy genre. Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Witchlore series, and this is such a great romantasy starter series, so if you are not a big romantasy reader, but you're interested in getting started on the genre, stick around, let's talk about this series, and you'll be wanting to add it to your TBR. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more book content. I love sharing book recommendations, reviews, unboxing videos, all the fun bookish things, so make sure you're following along. So let's talk about this series. This is the Witchlore series, which is a 4-book series that follows a small town of witches. Now, I am just getting started in the romantasy genre. I would really say this is probably my first true romantasy read. I have read a lot of witchy books before, witchy romances, and I feel like the witchy romance genre, it's a little, I don't know if it's quite romantasy. It still sort of has a contemporary feel to it sometimes, but I love witchy books. I think they're so much fun, so I'm always reading those. But this series here definitely felt more like a romantasy series to me than a paranormal witchy type of romance. So like I said, it's not really been a genre that I've read, but let me tell you, I think this is such a great series to get you started if you're wanting to dip your toe into it, because it was a very easy read, really simple to follow along with the world building going on, and I felt like it wasn't going over my head like some of the magic systems in there. So yeah, if you are trying to get started on romantasy, you should probably pick up the Witchlore series. And I will say that a lot of people save witchy reads for spooky season, but you actually don't have to do that with this one. The first book starts in the spring and then it works through to I think this one is more good in the Christmas season. So if you started in the spring, even if you started during witchy season, whatever you choose, this really could be read all year round. You'll still find some enjoyment out of it. So let's talk about all the books in the series. No spoilers, of course. Just a brief overview. So for book 1, we have Small Town Big Magic. Book 2 is Big Little Spells. Book 3 is Truly Madly Magically. And book 4 is Dragonfires Everywhere. So I will give you a little bit of a synopsis about what book 1 is about, but I won't tell you much about books 2 to 4 because I don't want to give anything away. But in this book, you're meeting Emerson. And she's living in a small town in Missouri, and she is pretty much running her town politics and everything. She's hosting all these events and doing all these things for the town. She even has her own small store bookshop right in the downtown area. And she's just a normal person. At least that's what she thinks. And she ends up finding out that she is actually a witch who has had her memory erased. It was so cool to see her be this person and find out she's a witch, because all of her friends knew that, but because she had her memory wiped, they weren't allowed to say anything. So it was really intriguing to see that part and kind of see her come into her own as a witch throughout the story. But one of my favorite things about this book is the found family in it. And it starts here, but it's right off the bat. You can feel the sense of family with all these people immediately. And I really enjoyed that about this book. And even throughout the entire series, all these friends come together and end up forming their own coven. So that was a really cool thing to see, and to see them all just interact with each other. It was so well done. So that's what happens in this first book, as we meet Emerson, and they have an issue that they have to deal with that is presented in the first book and then weaves its way throughout the rest of the series. I do want to go into a bit more of my thoughts about this series if you have read it before, but there will be some spoilers. So if you don't want to stick around for spoilers, totally okay. I will just leave you with pick it up because I really enjoyed it. The last 2 books in the series were my favorites. I just loved the story in this one, the couple in here, loved it so much. And then the last one wrapped up the story so beautifully. I honestly missed these characters so much when I was done with it. I still miss them. This is just such a great found family, cozy read. I loved it so much. So now, if you have read this series before, let's chat about it. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, so if you've not swiped away yet and you haven't read this, you can leave now. I don't want you to get spoiled if you're wanting to read this series. So in book 1, of course, we followed Emerson, and I loved Emerson. She was like the type A personality, like kind of controlling everything. She ends up becoming like the coven leader, and I loved that. I really had a lot of fun with this book, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. Now, in Big Little Spells, we're following Emerson's sister, Rebecca, and I will say, I did not like this one. I really struggled with reading it, and honestly, I only pushed through because I wanted to keep going with the series. And I will say that like I read this as like a big group buddy read, and I was one of the only ones who didn't care for this one, so take it with a grain of salt. But I feel like as a beginner romantasy reader, there was like, this one had a shadow daddy in it, which is not like my thing. Like I thought the whole like Rebecca and whatever his name was, Nicholas Frost, that like creeped me out. Like, because we meet Nicholas Frost in the first book, and he's described as this like immortal, like old man, and then Rebecca is with him, but then they started talking about him as if he was like this dashing man, but it seemed like they were talking about him being like this crusty old guy in the first one, so I was kind of like, ew, I don't know. Anyway, that wasn't my thing, so I didn't really care for that, and like I said, I really struggled to get through this one, and I just kind of like tried to speed through it because I really wanted to get to the rest of the series. And let me tell you, I am glad I did. I will say I gave this book 2 stars. But anyway, glad I kept going because this story here was the one I was so excited for. This one followed Elwyn and Xander, who had enemies vibes in the beginning of the book, which I love an enemies to lovers, so I could not wait to see them together. And I love second chance romance, so it was just perfect. And truly, I was not expecting the surprise pregnancy trope in this one, but it was done really well. Like, I really enjoyed this story. I loved Elwyn and Xander's relationship. It was so beautiful. I gave this one 5 stars. Then moving on to the last one, Dragonfire is Everywhere. I loved it. And I'll be honest, I kind of thought I wasn't gonna like this one because as somebody who doesn't read a lot of romantasy, I kind of don't understand the whole dragon thing. And I kind of got it. Like, I'm still not quite on board with it, but I really liked Gideon. I'm pretty sure that's his name. He was so great and so like steamy. I just loved him. And I kind of thought in the beginning, I was like, is this gonna be another like shadow daddy thing? But it didn't feel that way to me. And I really think that I didn't like the shadow daddy thing because Nicholas Frost was like portrayed as being this really old man in the first one. So I was just kind of like turned off by that. But anyway, Gideon, he was great. And I kind of didn't know what to expect with this story because we don't see a whole lot of Georgie in the like first 3 books. Like, she's very quiet, kind of keeps to herself, does her thing, you know, but we didn't meet a whole lot and learn a whole lot about her. So I wasn't sure what to expect from this one. And it was so freaking good. I loved it so much. I feel like the way the story wrapped up totally made sense. There were twists in here I wasn't expecting at all. I just really adored it. It was done so well. All in all, I think this series was so fantastic, and I would recommend it to anybody who enjoys romantasy, just getting started with romantasy. It's just such a fun time, and it has a lot of elements to it in a romance or any kind of story that I like the small town vibes, found family, very cozy and atmospheric. I ate it up. And like I said before, I truly miss these characters so much. Like, I read the books like 1 each month, and I'm in February now, so it's my first month not having been with these characters, and I do miss them. They were a lot of fun. So if you have read the series, let me know what you thought in the comments. Did you agree with my ratings or thoughts on these books? And just tell me all the things. And if you have any suggestions for like a similar romantasy series that's sort of like beginner friendly, drop those in the comments too, because I'm really trying to dive in more to romantasy this year. Thanks for watching, besties. I'll see you next time.